Picture this for a second. You're cruising down the highway, right? Got your favorite music playing, not a single care in the world, and then out of nowhere, bam, you hear that unmistakable, awful sound of a blown tire. You pull over, take a look at the completely shredded rubber, and realize, yep, you are stranded. It's an absolute disaster. But what if I told you that in this fast-paced 7-minute explainer, we're going to look at exactly why that simple, round object sitting flat on the asphalt is actually humanity's ultimate triumph? Because, think about it. You get a flat tire, and what happens next? Your single car comes to a grinding halt. Your personal journey gets paused for a few hours. But if we zoom way out, the wheel itself is the fundamental reason the entire world has been able to move forward at all. I mean, it is the literal foundation of modern civilization. Without it, absolutely everything just stops.
Section 1, the pre-wheel struggle. Okay, let's dive into this. And to really appreciate it, we need to go back and imagine the incredibly exhausting reality of the Neolithic age.
Before the wheel, if you needed to move massive loads from point A to point B, you had a seriously stubborn, grueling problem on your hands. Your absolute best option? Dragging goods across the dirt on clunky, heavy wooden sledges. It required massive brute strength, it was painfully slow, completely miserable, and it usually involved roping in some very grumpy animals. But then, right around 5000 BCE, legend and archaeology tells us a lucky accident changed everything. Somewhere in the muddy stretches of Mesopotamia, a fallen tree just happened to roll under a loaded sledge. Suddenly, that massive, backbreaking burden just glided smoothly over the round trunk. It was a total revelation.
Section 2, from pottery to transport. That astonishing realization that rolling absolutely beats dragging sparked a rapid wave of innovation. Now, this didn't happen overnight. By 5000 BCE, people were intentionally placing logs under sledges. But interestingly enough, the very first actual wheels weren't used for wagons or carts at all. By 4000 BCE, clever artisans had invented the potter's wheel. These were just slow-turning platforms used to craft beautiful, perfectly round art and pottery. And it literally took centuries for someone to look at that spinning pottery platform and think, hey, wait a minute, if this helps spin pots, why not use it to move carts too? So around 3500 BCE, the first solid wooden wheels appeared in places like Uruk in ancient Sumer. They were these thick, heavy discs built from solid wooden planks. Section 3, fixing the friction problem. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the major mechanical flaw hiding in those early 3500 BCE wagons. You see, in those early designs, the wheel and the axle were fused together. They rotated as one single unit. This meant incredible amounts of friction. It was horribly noisy, incredibly bumpy, and highly prone to snapping. It took grueling centuries of tweaking for inventors to finally make a massive mechanical leap. They figured out how to let the wheels spin freely around a fixed stationary axle. That completely changed the game, drastically cutting down friction and making transportation way smoother and vastly more efficient. Section 4, the need for speed. And once things got smooth, humanity wanted to go fast. By 2000 BCE, cultures like the Hittites and the Minoans completely dazzled the world with an incredible new design. They knocked all that heavy wood right out of the center and replaced those solid discs with strong, lightweight wooden spokes. This made carts unbelievably nimble, and the crucial takeaway here is that this wasn't just for hauling groceries faster. It completely revolutionized ancient warfare. Fast-moving, spoke-wheeled chariots literally tore across battlefields, effectively rewriting the rules of combat forever.
Section 5, global spread. But we always have to remember, human innovation is rarely identical everywhere.
If we look across the globe, we see the wheel popping up in entirely different ways. Over in the Indus Valley, around 2500 BCE, we see large-wheeled carts actively being used for heavy, practical transport. Yet, juxtapose that with ancient Mesoamerica around 1500 BCE. They definitely knew about the wheel, but oddly enough, they limited its use almost entirely to small, wheeled toys. For whatever reason, they just didn't adopt it for large-scale transport at that time. Kind of wild, right? Section 6, modern tires. Let's fast forward a bit to the 19th century, where those sophisticated, fixed-axle designs finally met modern chemistry. In the 1840s, an inventor named Charles Goodyear developed vulcanized rubber. This meant wheels could finally be wrapped in something flexible, yet incredibly durable. Then, a few decades later, in 1887, John Boyd Dunlop took it a massive step further by inventing the pneumatic tire, meaning it was actually filled with air. And this brilliantly illustrates the perfect marriage of Goodyear's durability with Dunlop's air-filled comfort, which directly paved the way for modern bicycles and the entire global automobile industry.
Okay, before we wrap up, it's trivia time. Let's anchor this 7-minute history explainer in some hard physical proof. Did you know the earliest known depiction of a wheeled vehicle is actually found on a piece of pottery? It's called the Bronze pot, discovered in Poland, and it dates way back to 3370 BCE. And if you want the absolute oldest physical wheel ever discovered, you've got to look at the Ljubljana Marshes wheel found in Slovenia, carbon dated to around 3100 BCE. It is literally mind-blowing to think about holding something that old.
Section 7. Humanity's Collective Triumph.
The wheel isn't a single person's invention. It's humanity's slow, brilliant, collective triumph. You know, today's fast-spinning world of cars, bikes, and automated machines owes a very quiet thanks to that first tired farmer, a stubborn sledge, and a lucky fallen log. Millions of invisible minds iterated on this one simple shape over millennia.
So, I leave you with this final thought. From rolling wooden logs in the mud of Mesopotamia to the high-tech, air-filled rubber tires on your car today, humanity spent 7,000 relentless years perfecting the wheel, which begs the question, what in the world will we invent to replace it?